Live. Good evening and welcome. I'm Abz of October Red and I am joined by the one and only Don Charles. Don, it's an absolute pleasure to get you on this live. We've spoken, I think, once before,
Yeah,
but now we've made this happen. Oh, he's clicked off. He's clicked off. Let's get him back. What happened there, Don?
I don't know technology. Yeah. I said that.
Technology.
Thank you for having me on. It is the first time with yourselves,
On the
So
live. Yeah, listen, we've got to start. I'm going to start. We're going to start from last week's press conference because that's where I
mhm,
saw you. Obviously,
correct.
Daniel Dubois is part of the 5v5. Talk to us about that, getting that opportunity once again, for young Daniel to go out to Saudi.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Where do I start? In the sense that this journey began. You were present when I first got appointed as Daniel Dubois' head coach.
Hmm.
That was merely 10 months ago. So much has happened in that 10 months. This will be our third fight together in 10 months, which is pretty good considering. It hasn't been a year since this young man's joined forces with myself. So I'm so grateful to God. I always bring God into it because nothing is possible without God. If it's written, the way things happen, it's not by accident because they're meant to be. I remember you asked me a question back then at a press conference. What would it mean to me to have? That's when we were preparing to fight Usyk. I remember you asked me a question which triggered me off, and I was bawling my eyes out. So much has happened since then. I'm not going to regurgitate, especially regarding the Usyk situation, and it wasn't meant to be because it was not written that way. As much as us as human beings, we want to do things when it doesn't go our way, we think, oh, it's the end of the world. No, because
He keeps on clicking out. I was enjoying that. You know where we're leading up to. Let me see if he jumps back in again. What I reckon is because obviously he's just downloaded the app that I use to obviously stream on YouTube. You might be getting phone calls, etc. So it keeps on kicking him out. But we'll see if we can get back in. But you know what we're leading up to with this. I want to speak to Don Charles about his relationship with Daniel Dubois and obviously how he's brought him on as a fighter. Because those of you that have watched Daniel Dubois throughout his career will see some sort of development. There's been a change in Daniel, and we're hoping that this change is for the better. I've got to see if he can jump back in. He's having, like I said, Don's having technical difficulties, and I get it. Sometimes if you haven't used this form of live before, if you're getting phone calls or whatever, it can cut you off. So let me just see what he's doing. Let me just send him a quick message. And we can say, look, this is live. It happens. It's technical. And he's
yeah,
back again.
I'm back again. The devil is a liar. They don't want this chat to happen. That's why, but we will
The
persevere.
devil is a liar. I do like that.
Yeah, the devil is a liar. My mother, my late mother, God rest her soul, she always used to say that the devil is a liar. And so this gathering, this interview, or this what we're having here, is going to go ahead. So
It sure is.
so
So you
so
know
as I
that.
was, go
Yeah,
ahead,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
on. Yeah. No, go on. Go on,
No,
Don.
as I was saying, so much has happened in the last 10 months. We then obviously fought the American Baby Miller in Riyadh
Mm.
back in December, and we were victorious, and which now leads Daniel into having this fight with Hergovich, the 5 v5, and we've been blessed with this opportunity to go and get victory again, and see what happens after that. But obviously, we're not looking beyond Hergovich. We're training very hard for it, like we always do. And yeah, Daniel's in a great place. We've gotten to know each other better, you know. We've gotten to know each other better. Considering we haven't been together that long, we gelled instantaneously, you know. We had to gel instantaneously, but he's the time we spent together now working together, he's got to know my ethos of coaching, what I want, and I know what he wants. As a coach, I knew exactly what I could do with such a fine athlete. So it's exciting times.
That relationship that you've built with him, he does seem, more confident in himself. I will say that from when he went out to fight Usyk, his ring walk, he's on foreign soil, so to speak. He's the away fighter, and the confidence that I saw in him walking out to the ring, like really enjoying the moment, didn't look nervous. I get it. The fight went how it went. We don't need to discuss that. But what I'm getting at, Don, is it's clear, and he's gone. He's gone again. This is the benefit of live streaming.
Yeah,
Here we
the
go.
devil. Every time it happens, say the devil is a liar, and it'll come. I actually didn't speak it out. I said it, and it came straight back. Yeah,
Listen, it's the confidence that we see in Daniel, and to be fair, with it keep on cutting in and out. This is the benefit of live streams, but we
correct,
deal with
correct.
it. We run with it.
It's
Just
not.
keep
It's
jumping
not.
back in if you
It's
drop
not
out.
scripted. It is. It's live. It's not scripted.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
But he just seems so much more comfortable and confident. You mentioned that you gelled instantaneously.
we have to.
That trust that he's got with you as his coach. I mean, you know, his father was almost always there with him. Not saying that he's not now,
It still
but
is.
it's
Yeah.
almost, it's almost like he's he's got that trust.
Go back.
Oh,
Trust me. Every time it happens, say it with me because it's powerful. It's powerful words. Yeah, and it'll come straight back. Right. And also, there is a saying that you are the company you keep. Right. The company
yeah,
he's. I'm
for
not
real.
saying he was in bad company, whatever, but you
Mm,
become the environment. You are the company you keep. Right. So
mm,
basically, I'm not going to go too much into details. Uh, the team, the environment he's now with, Daniel, yeah,
mm,
he's comfortable, very comfortable with it. It's allowing him to breathe. It's allowing him to grow. And he's also older now. You know, he's now 26 years old. You know, he's maturing. Yeah, in every aspects, he's maturing. Yeah, mentally, physically, technically, in his craft. Yeah, he's more experienced than he was. You know, so it's a combination of different factors which leads up to how you're seeing him now.
when he was, in the fight, and the knockdown will be a knockdown as far as I'm concerned. But there was this cloud that rested over Daniel's head about him giving him, about him being a quitter, about him, not being able to see it to the end, about him not having heart. And one of the things that he said after he beat Big Baby Miller is it's almost like he was on the mic saying, "See, I'm not a
Mm,
quitter. I want all of you lot to see that I'm not a quitter. I can go to the end." And you could, it was almost like, "I told you, there you go, showed you, I can do this." Talk to me about that emotion when Daniel had that, not outburst, but when he was happy, that he got
sure,
the win. He was
sure,
he was happy that he
sure.
saw the fight to the end.
Sure. I mean, like it's a narrative, and it's a narrative that was put out there. By what disappointed me is that the people who were pushing this narrative
I love
is a liar.
lives. I love lives. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The narrative that was pushed out there, and the general public bought it. This narrative was put out there by key members, respected figures in boxing, yeah, started that he's a quitter, yeah, and we're all human beings. When everybody's telling you you're a quitter, you're a loser, right? Of course, you're going to like question yourself. Am I a quitter? Yeah, and the answer was no. We knew he's not a quitter. He knows he's not a quitter. Yeah, it's just a narrative that's been spread out there. You know, the wicked world we live in. Yeah, there's some wicked people out there. Yeah. And then, like I said, we're all human beings. You know, the young man, there will be a sense of doubt. He would look at himself, some doubt, then it's sort of the people around him, his father, myself, the team, believe in God first and for this young man. And we worked diligently. I know he's not a quitter. So collectively, you surround yourself with positive people, like-minded people, and we knew that. Yeah, people don't realize the pain that boxers feel when they get punched. Certain punches that might not look like much. Yeah, if you're in pain, you're in pain. If you have to stop, yeah. I did I went on a platform, quite a large national platform, and I asked them a question. They couldn't answer me. I said, look, all this quitting stuff, the narrative that people put out there generally. Let me ask you guys a question. You know, people who do UFC, the competitors, yeah, UFC, MMA, they're all very, very tough individuals, you know. I say, when they tap out, when they're in a choke or whatever, and they tap out to be released from the hold the opposition has got on them, is that quitting them because they've tapped out? Is that quitting? I put that question to them. They couldn't, because when you stop and think about it, yeah, okay, is that quitting? Then if that is quitting, then all the people in who compete, all the greatest people who've done that sport, when they tap out, that means they're quitters then? No, it's not. Yeah, they're not quitters. There's limits to everything. The pain, when you're enduring some pain, yeah, some pain you can't deal with, yeah. So you call it a day to live to fight another day, right? So anyway, he answered all the doubters on that. God is great, because that was, and also it wasn't like Daniel came out and blasted Miller out in a couple of rounds. Yeah, he took 10 rounds of technical dissection. Yeah, and my goodness, could Miller take a punch? That man, because of his weight, he was able to soak up punishment round after
absorb.
round, and then in the end, he couldn't take any more. Yeah, and he said it himself. Yeah, he said, "Triple D, man, you got my. I won't swear because I don't really like to swear. You got my respect, and you ain't no quitter." He said it himself. So I believe that label has been removed from instantaneously. Yeah, and for him himself as well as a human being, uh, the satisfaction he would have gotten from that to prove to himself, never mind anyone else. Yeah, prove to no, because you go away when all the cameras are away. You go away and you do question yourself: am I a quitter? Everybody's saying I'm a quitter. You have to ask yourself that question. Then you have to also look in the mirror and answer yourself: no, I'm not a quitter. Right? He's a winner. He's a winner. Natural born winner. Natural born fighter.
It's something, and I get it. It's the thing is with boxing, and I know you mentioned like the UFC, and I get it. That's the way they surrender in their fights. But
Correct.
we have
Tap
this
out.
with boxing. We have this with boxing where if you do like you said, take a knee, or you look at your corner, or all of
Yes.
these things, there is a massive stigma attached to it, because it's not something, and this is me playing a bit of an advocate here, Don. It's not something that we see that we see a lot of
No,
in
it's
boxing,
not.
so it's
It's not,
frowned
because
upon.
boxing. Correct, but boxing is very primitive. Yeah. Well, it is a
Hmm.
primitive thing to do, to punch each other in the head in the
Mm,
first place. It's a
mm,
very do,
mm.
but it hasn't moved forward in some cases. Yeah. And we're
Okay.
still living in the past. Things have moved on. Things are moved on, and we have to move on with the times. And thank God for his. I know you're gonna ask me. I'm probably jumping the gun. I said thank God for His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh, because the way they've come into boxing and the way boxing is presented now, yeah, the production that goes into boxing, yeah, they're putting money into putting a proper show on for the audience. Really become it's a show. It's like going to the theater the way it's been done now. Yeah. And like I said, boxing is so raw, it's so brutal, and this kind of not softens it. The way it's presented now, it's almost like it's been repackaged and represented. Yeah, it's the same product, but it's been dressed up a little bit more now. You know?
Dressed up. I do agree with you on the
Yeah.
dressing up of it. But Don, even like I said, we definitely see that Daniel Dubois is improving. But I'm going to throw something out there because not many people know. Obviously, you've been a boxing coach for a very long time, and a lot of the fans don't know that you was Anthony Joshua's trainer. I have to bring it up because it's something that's kind of like sat there in the cupboard
Yeah, it's
and
been
nobody really know
mentioned
about it. But
here, there, and there. Because I haven't come publicly and said anything. It's the same exercise I did with Derek Chisora. Basically, I'm just going to give the outlines. I'm not going to go into details. Derek, I met Derek Chisora in a petrol station because I live in Finchley, and Derek boxes for Finchley ABC. Yeah, okay. And I trained him. Without the knowledge, he was still boxing for Finchley ABC. He'd only had, I believe it was 6 amateur fights when I met him. Yeah. And I started working with him without the knowledge of his amateur club. So he went through and won the ABAs, novice ABAs and the actual national ABAs back to back without the knowledge of his, that he was getting. There's nothing wrong with this. It's almost like having a maths, you're at school, you're getting lessons with
extra
English
tuition.
tutor who comes to your home. Absolutely, it's the same thing. So basically, but it was without the knowledge of his club, yeah. And did this, I did thing with Anthony Joshua for many many years. Yeah, he stopped me in the street when he was merely 18 years old. Anthony, so Derek was British champion at the time, and he recognized me. I was driving my in Finchley. He lived in Temple Fortune, an area called Temple Fortune, with his mother,
Okay.
and he saw me in my car with his colleagues. He was with some friends, and they hooted me. I thought, I don't know these kids, and they asked me to pull for. Hang on a sec. There's only one of me. I thought,
And just like that, he keeps disappearing as we get into the juicy bits.
yeah. He introduced himself, and he said, "You're Derek Chisora's trainer, aren't you?" I said, "Correct." He said, "Oh, can you help me out?" I said, "How many fights have you had?" He'd only had, I think, 8. Yeah, about 8 amateur fights when I met him. Again, I started working with him behind the scenes, you know, all the way up to the up to him qualifying for the Olympics and stuff. So I'm not going to go any deeper than that, right? So yeah, I've worked with loads of people, yeah, over the years. God has blessed me, but I'm pretty a quiet man. I've done a lot. It's taken me 20 years to get to
20
where,
years.
yeah, 20 years, yeah, of grafting. I love what I do. I'm blessed. When I didn't know this is what I was meant to be doing in my life. I was supposed to be a doctor or a lawyer, typical Nigerian parents. It's a good thing. I'm the eldest in my family, the firstborn. I'm the one who was being primed to become this doctor or this lawyer. And look what I ended up doing. It's purely a passion of mine that I turned into a profession. It's a passion. I boxed as an amateur purely not because I wanted to turn pro. I did it because I loved boxing. Yeah, and I had no intentions of turning professional. It's only after I stopped fighting as an amateur, and the people who were my stable mates, Danny Williams, who went on to beat Mike Tyson.
Danny Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, they boxed for my Brixton and District amateur club in Herne Hill in Brixton, and South London. And then Spencer Fearon was also at that club. Yeah, I'm 10 years older than Danny and Spencer. They were my juniors at my club. It's only when I stopped competing as an amateur, then people like Danny went on to beat like Mike Tyson, and Spencer Fearon did really well as a pro. They're all turned pro except for myself. Yeah. So that's when I thought, oh my God, I could have actually done this for a living if I wanted to, because my stablemates went on to do great things as professionals. Then that's when I thought, what else can I do because I love boxing. I want boxing in my life. I thought, let me try being a coach, but I didn't know how the hell you become a coach. I don't know. There are no schools.
Oh.
Devil is a liar. There you go.
he's
Devil is
definitely
a
doing
liar.
something tonight. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sorry, carry on.
basically is I thought, let me try my hand at coaching. How do I become? I don't know. I just and then typical African mentality. I want to open the studio mainly to coach I used to run a security company, mainly to coach my security guards to make them better equipped to defend themselves. And then if anybody wants to get fit and learn the basic fundamentals of boxing, I wanted to do that in my studio. And lo and behold, 10 days after I've gotten the keys for my first gym, that's when I bumped into who we now know as Derek Chisora in a petrol station, put petrol in my car. My friend approached him. He had, it was summertime, and he had a Finchley Amateur Club T-shirt. So my friend not recognized, but said to him, "Are you a boxer?" He said, "Yeah." My friend said, "If you know what is good for you, if you want to get better, you need to talk to that guy." That guy being me, I was putting petrol in my car. And God rest my friend's soul, because my friend left us just over 12 months ago. The man who made it all, it's just a chance meeting. And had he not spoken to Derek Chisora, I'm very, very reserved. I wouldn't have spoken to him. Yeah. Okay. This young man changed my life, Derek Chisora, that is, because had I not met him, yes, I would have opened my studio in Finchley. Yes, I would have trained keep fitters and my security guards. Yeah. And then not knowing that chance meeting ignited and flew me into the industry. And when I look back now, 20 years ago, I'm thinking I was so naive. I didn't know how to get into the industry. When I look back, I thought, oh my God, right? There is no way in, because I would have maybe had to gone and done the amateur circuit as a coach, then to perhaps get
Go
promoted and
straight
then
in
become,
for, yeah.
but it doesn't happen. Yeah, I won't mention no names. I had a meeting with a black gentleman. I have to say, I hate bringing color into it. A black gentleman, a coach. That I'm 62 years old. That coach is 65. He's still an amateur coach. He came to me 4 weeks ago to help him to try and get his pro license, because he's asking me, how did you get to where you are? This man's more experienced than me. He's coached loads of previous champions who went on to become world champions and Olympic champions, but yet again, he's never had the promotion and the recognition. It makes me sad. Yeah. So when I look back at this, I'm thinking, my goodness, because I opened my studio and God blessed me and I met Derek Chisora, chance meeting. Then I met Anthony Joshua after Derek became British champion. And then after the Olympics, fast forward, after the Olympics with Anthony, I remember I didn't speak or see him for 9 whole months after the Olympics. I knew this was going to happen, that everyone's going to jump on him. People, all the newcomers.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told him this. That literally, we will finish training. Me and his cousin Benga will go to a local cafe and eat
Shout out
food
to Benga, lovely
and
guy.
chat. Exactly. And chat, and I will brief them, educate them on boxing business. Yeah. I said, be aware of this, be aware. It's almost like I was a visioner. Everything I told those young men, they're still experiencing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Namely Anthony, because he's still active, very active. Yeah. And I remember after 9 months, my phone rang. I was in my gym training as usual, my training people, and my phone rang, and it was Anthony. 9 months after the Olympics, I hadn't heard from him. And it was a different number. I didn't recognize it. I said, hello. He said, hi, uncle. This is, I said, who's this? He said, it's me. I said, who's me? He said, Josh. I said, oh, the prodigal son. He started laughing, right? And he said, can we meet up? I said, yes. Yes, let's meet. I said, you know where I am. He said, uncle, I can't come to the gym. Things have changed. Yeah, this is after the Olympics. Yeah. I said, okay, cool. Let's meet me at my apartment. So I gave him my address. He came to my apartment. Yeah. And then obviously we embraced. I'm so proud of you. And when you qualified, I said to you, what a big achievement when he qualified for the Olympics, because the kid, he hadn't been doing it that long. Yeah. And then I said, you're blessed, you're chosen. Right. Then he turned around and said, okay, uncle, I'm thinking of turning pro. Yeah. Being a professional boxer. All right. Will you be my professional coach as well? I burst out crying. A big man like me, I burst out crying, and basically, someone's knocking on the door. They couldn't wait. I burst out crying. He said, "Uncle, what is the matter?" I said, "I'm supposed to be happy." I said, "I am happy that you've now asked me to be your professional coach, boxing coach, right?" And then that's when it dawned on me. Just give me a second. Stay
Yeah,
there.
yeah. No worries. I'm going to go through the chat while you're there anyway, because there's a few people saying some bits and bobs. As you can hear, the door is knocking
Oh,
quite
excuse me.
heavily.
I'm on the phone.
Um,
Come in.
let's have a look.
Right, I'm back.
Yeah, let me just go through this chat quickly. A couple of people are saying that they think that Joel Joyce was probably more deserving to get this chance with Hrgovic. They see him as the more deserving fighter than young Daniel.
Sorry, sorry. Let me interrupt you. Is this people
Yeah,
messaging in?
yeah, it's a live chat, so people will type up messages as
Yeah,
we're
that's
speaking. Because
cool.
obviously,
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
everybody's in.
Oh, he's gone again. Hold
Let,
on.
let them shoot.
Yeah, yeah, People are respectful, otherwise I'll block them. Don
No,
Charles is the
no.
creator
Freedom of speech.
of.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah,
Let them speak. Let them
as long
speak.
as it's not disrespect. I don't like disrespectful stuff in the chat anyway. Don Charles is the creator of Big Daddy Daniel Dubois.
I'm not the creator. God is
Boxing
the creator. I'm a trainer.
the trainer.
I'm not a creator.
Boxing
Yeah.
Pound for Pound Jack has says good evening to Abz and Don Charles. Ellis Palmer has said all respect to Don, absolute legend in the game. Miller is not a top tier boxer, just a big guy that looked poor to me.
Do more.
And here's a question for you, Don. Jack says, what will you do to stop Hrgovic from rabbit punching Dubois? Ask this as you guys had difficulty with the waist belt issue in Poland. And that's coming from our Jack.
Right.
What do
First
you think
question
about
is
that?
about the rabbit punches. We're aware of that. So obviously, all we can do initially in the rules meeting, we already observed that. So good observation from the young man who's messaging in. We're going to obviously ask the referee, request for him to be aware that this man fouls a lot. Yeah, but we've made provisions. We've made provisions to counteract him rabbit punching. He won't be able to do that to because we've made provisions
Okay.
to accommodate that. The same thing I did with when I prepared Derek Chisora to fight Vitaly Klitschko. There was a lot of fouling, illegal fouling Klitschko's used to do. Again, we was able to do things to disable him, to stop him from doing those fouls to Derek. And if I can do that for Derek, I can definitely get Daniel to. We've made provisions for it.
Good.
We're aware of it.
Good. Ellis has asked, are you still in contact with Danny? I see he's still fighting. Is he in okay health?
Yeah, well, basically, obviously, I don't want him to carry on. We've had conversations, and it's a long story. It's quite sensitive. I don't want to
Okay.
say any
Yeah,
more.
we'll
Say
leave
any
that
more on
then.
it. Yeah.
Well, somebody said you love boxing. Shout out to you. Has said, is your son still fighting?
He's had some. Unfortunately, he's had some health issues which we're addressing. It's been,
Oh,
yeah. It's not public knowledge. It's first time. Every time I speak,
every time.
and he'll be in good health. To if it's to be, like I said,
Okay.
it's all been written by God. If it's that's his destiny, that for him to go and achieve what he's more than capable of. He's got more skills than most people I see. If it's written for him, then no one can stop it. Ill health.
Okay. Well, we
Way.
wish him a speedy recovery and that he's going to be okay. Definitely wish him
Thank
that.
you.
Waved. Good evening to you. Does Don know that he's an icon in British boxing? What a lovely comment. Thank you, Waved. That's a nice
Thank
thing to
you. Yeah,
say.
thank you. It is. I mean, listen, I'm touched, but because I don't look at myself that way, I'm still the same hungry African boy that, like I said to you, the chance meeting with Derek Chisora changed my life. And I just want to, if it's written for me to get to my destination as a coach, there's so many things I want to do to through my observations and experience to make things better for people within the industry, people who otherwise would never get promoted, get a look in. I
For
got
real.
in by accident. They didn't see me coming. It was a fluke.
Yeah, we love it. And finally, from Eloise Parkin, thank you very much, Eloise. Hi, Don. You are an inspiration because of your humble honesty and pure kindness and willingness to help others. Do you think this has held you back somewhat? Now, I do agree with that.
Is a liar.
I
See, I
definitely.
told you. Every time he goes missing, you got to say that because it will come back. So I didn't hear the last of the question, the last bit of the question. Do I think
Yeah, it
what?
says, and your pure kindness and willing to help others. Do you think that has held you back somewhat? Which,
No, no, no.
okay.
That's the fuel. The fuel to see other people happy makes me happy, and then you get the
Mm-hmm.
blessings. You get blessings from that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get blessings from that.
Okay. Yeah. But let's go back to where we were. Then you said about obviously meeting up with Anthony Joshua, who was talking about,
Yeah,
looking for a professional coach. And that's when you had to just go and get the door. But yeah, I thought I've got to go
no,
through the chat because it's just polite
sure,
to obviously
sure.
acknowledge all the listeners.
I'm giving you the outlines. Like I said, I'm not. I won't
Yeah.
go into
I know you're not going to
details.
go into detail. Yeah.
Because we'll be here till tomorrow, basically. Right. So I tell it. I'm old school, and I make stories just like my parents used to do. I'm doing it because I'm of that age. I stretch
But
stories.
you guys are the library, Don.
Yeah.
If you
So
guys don't tell your stories on your experiences, the library burns. It
yeah,
goes. It
true,
dies
true.
off with whoever's got the stories, and that's why it's so important to get you know, these stories out. But
Yeah.
sorry, as you were, sorry.
No, like I said, when Anthony asked me, would after the Olympics, that is, he would like me to be his professional coach. Also, I
Mm,
told you I broke down and started crying. He didn't understand, and I explained to him that I didn't realize the journey that I'm on. This is what I've been put
mm,
on the planet to do, and there's this. It doesn't end here because it's a mission. I'm on a mission. I have plans. I'm not going to disclose what those plans are. They're all good. It's all about helping people, but I need to be in a position to do that. Yeah, within the industry that there's a lot of things I've seen that I'd like to help to change to make things better,
mm.
so other people can come through.
Yeah, we love that polite talk. Well, Daniel Dubois has got a good fight coming up with Filip Hrgovic. We've touched on obviously some of the issues that are there, but when you look at Daniel as an improving fighter, for I know that you've had him. You could say it's just for 3 fights. It hasn't been that
We
long in
haven't been
terms of
together a year. It's been
time.
10 months. It's incredible
Yeah.
what's happened, really, and he's
So,
gotten to know me, the ethos of my coaching. He's bought
okay.
into the concept of it, and people are going to
Yeah.
get in for a shock because when we trained to fight Usyk, we trained specifically to fight a southpaw. Right? There are certain rules. And then when we trained to fight the second fight, Baby Miller, again, we trained to fight a 25-stone man. We had to adapt to fight on the reverse. Daniel never fights going back, but he did, yeah,
Mm,
and he was
mm.
successful doing it. This is the first time they're actually gonna see the Daniel Dubois that when I close my eyes to dream of what style do I want him to do. That this third fight is going to demonstrate what I actually want him to fight like.
I am literally intrigued to see it, but I'm going to talk to you about a couple. I want your predictions on the card, Don, because it's a good card. I like the
Some
five
of
v
them I'm
five.
not familiar with. I can only comment on the ones
Or
I'm
what
familiar
about
with.
the heavyweights then? What
Of
about
course, that's my subject. That's my
so let's
chosen
talk about
subject.
Zhilei Zhang and Deontay Wilder, both men coming off a loss. Talk to us about them pairs, similar in age, not at the peak of their careers anymore. Your words.
Yeah, coincidentally, they were both beaten, sustained their losses from the hands of one man, Joseph Parker. Right. So basically, how I see that one, it's a question of who has the desire. If Deontay Wilder, he alluded in the press conference, the last press conference, that he'd done some soul searching and he's got the fire back in his belly.
Mm,
Hunger is a great thing. Yeah. If it's to somehow manages to get that hunger that he once upon a time had, then he will blast Zhilei Zhang like out the way, because he can't come in there with the performance he gave against Joseph Parker. Yeah. And Zhilei Zhang, the last performance against Joseph Parker, if he turns up, then Wilder will blast him out. And if Wilder turns up in the same way he fought Joseph Parker, he will get blasted out. So it's a question of who's got desire, who still wants it, who's still hungry. Yeah. Wilder has made a lot of money. Yeah. And so that hunger I'm talking about, does he still want it? So if he does, we know he's a knockout specialist, and Zhang is not exactly young. His work rate is where he falls short. If he had work rate energy, then he's an exceptional big man. I met him for the first time in that the press conference we had last week. We shared the same it's a holding room where all the fighters, 5 against 5. So the 5 of Queensbury was in. So we were in that room, and I stood next to this man. I thought, oh my God, I'm not a small man, but he dwarfs me.
He's huge, isn't he?
Yeah, it's huge. And I thought, oh my God. And he's a really lovely man as well. So so like I call it, it's a 50-50 fight, in my opinion, going into the fight. It's a question of who has more desire or will then be the victor.
I know I'm going to end it on here because I know we said we'd only do 30 minutes and I'm already up to 36. So a final question then, Don.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Filip Hrgović versus your fighter, Daniel Dubois. This is the IBF path. The IBF that also we heard that Anthony Joshua is going for. Hypothetically speaking, Daniel Dubois comes through on June the 1st.
June the 1st.
Yeah, he comes through on that.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, I'm not saying it will happen, but potentially there's a fight there with Anthony Joshua.
Correct.
I take it you've considered that, and I just like your thoughts on that potential bout. Yeah.
Well, it would be rude of me to. We're hypothetically speaking, if when we come through the next fight, I'm not going to go into my fighter going to fight. You're always going there believing that you're going to win. So nothing changes. Yes. I believe we're going to be victorious. Daniel's going to do a good number on me. And Mr. Hrgović, what's actually going to beat him is his arrogance. If you listen to him, the arrogancy of the man, because he apparently had the better of a sparring session when Daniel was only 20 years old. Yeah. Okay. He got the better of the sparring. Yeah. If you hear him speak, it's almost like all he has to do is turn up and he's won. I like that. Brilliant. But he's going to get a rude awakening. He's going to get a shock. He's now fighting a young man. He's developed, 26 years old. He's not at his prime as such. Heavyweights mature much like 28, 30, later, right? Yeah. So, but Daniel's a primed athlete, yeah? And our opponent is going to get a rude awakening, a shock. So that's what's going to.
Oh, he's done it again.
But you're aware of it. Devil is a liar. Yeah. You're back.
Devil is a liar.
Right. Then one step at a time. Then
one step at a time.
It's going to be mixed emotions because remember, Anthony's my guy. Yeah.
Yes. That's where I'm leading to.
It's the same when Derek beat Danny Williams to win his British title. It's the same. I couldn't get myself to celebrate after because I knew that Derek will beat. Danny was towards the end of his career.
Yes.
And then we got, lo and behold, he got matched with. I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh no, because that's my kid. I've known him since he was like 14 years old, Danny. And then ended up my new charge. Derek Chisora won his British title against him. The same thing is going to happen with Daniel. Again, without looking too far ahead, but Hrgović first. Then let's have another chat after the Hrgović fight.
We definitely will. Listen, I've got to say thank you so much for joining me this evening, Don Charles. Please don't let this be the last time, because I've enjoyed this, and I know you are a library of boxing, and there's so many things that I want to sit here and pick your brains all night and talk about stuff, but I know we haven't got the time. I've got to shout out everybody in the chat. Sorry I didn't get through all of the questions, but thank you to those of you that have joined in. Any final words for those listeners tonight, Don, before we end the
Yeah,
stream?
just to keep on believing. The devil is a liar. Yeah, and just love life that God gave you every day. Yeah, love life, celebrate life. Okay,
We love
and
it. And as
peace.
we say, October Red, stay ready. Adios.